Doing guys, hey, from the metal detector of Dorset, and today I'm in a pretty cool place. It's a Victorian graveyard with a quite a nice church at the top of the cemetery. I'm just going to spin you around hopefully to show you the actual Gothic entrance to the churchyard. It really is quite nice, so I'll just spin you around. Hopefully. Here we go. Now this really is quite a magnificent gateway. This church dates back to the early sort of 1830s. Quite busy with traffic on the road at the moment, so I'm going to spin you around and I will take you for a walk through the graveyard. This is the modern area at the moment where they grow flowers, which they sell on a Sunday to excuse the noise in the background, everyone. They sell on a Sunday for people to visit, pop onto the graves. So I'm going to take a little walk up this way. Had a little walk around earlier. Lots of gravestones here. And as we progress upwards, the gravestones do get more modern, but there's hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands actually. So if anyone's going to pop in to chat soon, I would like it if you'd say hello, and perhaps you can share the stream. It's really quite nice. The church at the top is very it's unusual enough actually, because it's quite small. Really quite small. There's a view down towards the gateway, and it's early evening here in England, so the light nights are starting to come in, which is nice. It's a really nice place for a walk. There's not many people around actually. It's quite a nice stone. I'll just show you this one. This is a pretty cool gravestone really, with an angel of course. Hi folks who are joining chat, thank you for attending. Today I'm just walking around a very old English graveyard. It's in Burton-on-Trent and it's Stapen Hill Cemetery. So I'm going to walk through. If I see any nice interesting gravestones, I will do a few sort of little close-ups. There's quite a few damaged ones I saw at the top of the cemetery. I don't know why they can't sort of repair them really, it's a shame. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up guys, that's really appreciated of course, as always. So yeah, this is a very early churchyard, 1830s approximately. Still in use at the top. People are still able to be buried here because it's got lots of land to it. So as I say, thank you for joining me guys. I can see you in chat there, so thank you. When I get to the top, I'll sit down and have a little chat with everyone, see how you all are. This is a very old place, really like it. And you can hear the birds singing, which is quite cool. Just give you a closer view, hopefully. There we go, is that better? Hopefully that's better for you. I think I'm actually on the wrong side really. I'll just walk around here. Earlier there was a little cat on his own who was acting really cute, you know. And he came up to me and he let me stroke him. And off he went on his merry way. This is quite interesting too. Most of these graves actually are dating to approximately the 1830s and the 1850s, 60s, 70s and 80s. They do go more modern as you go to the top of the graveyard. And I did walk around earlier to have a look. There's the church. As I said, it isn't actually a huge church. I thought it would have been a lot bigger. And this is what we call the resting house. So they would, actually I'm not sure what they would do in there. I think it's probably where they brought people to be rested before they were buried. I'm not sure. I think that's the case. Some quite nice old gravestones here. As I go around the churchyard, I won't film any modern ones out of respect for the families who may still come and visit the graveyard, obviously, you know. But these are quite old ones, really. It's quite a nice stone. Or a monument, if you want to call it a monument. I think it's a monument. It looks huge in the picture, but actually I've got it on a close-up, so I'll just reduce it down a bit, otherwise it'll look bigger than a church. So as I say, guys, thank you for joining me today. It was just literally, I just was walking around and I thought, well, you know what, so nice. I'm definitely going to share this with people so you can enjoy it, perhaps, if you like this kind of thing, which I do. Now this is a beautiful monument. I think it's in what they would call the Gothic style, and I think whoever had this monument constructed would have been fairly wealthy compared to your normal people who would be in graveyards, in gravestones like these, as you can see. So I think this is a fairly affluent person. To show you a few details actually, because it's nice for you to see those. So this one's 1878, Thomas Lowe, which is quite a common name in this town, which is Burton-on-Trent, of course. Really quite like the carvings. You've got like cherubs. I think, is that a cherub you would say? Maybe someone can tell me in the chat. There's quite a few as you go around the actual gravestone itself. And I'm sure that would have cost quite a lot of money in its day. So this is a resting house where they would have put the coffins in before they would go to the church. Well, I'm not sure actually if they would have had a service in the church, which is up there, and then come and done the actual burials, or if they were rested in here before the funeral, because this would have been a very, very busy place back in its time, because Burton-on-Trent's quite a large town and is very famous, of course, for beer making, which the monks used to do in the early days of the abbey, which unfortunately was demolished during the times of Henry VIII, during the dissolution of the monasteries. So the Abbey of Burton was long ago demolished, and the rubble or the stonework was sold off, and it was often used in constructions for other buildings, sometimes quite a way away, because obviously the stonemasons would have spent many years building an abbey, and of course even the old stone would have been very valuable. I'm sure there will be an official name for this small building. I've called it a resting house because I can't think of anything else to call it, to be honest. Now I am hoping that my camera is the right way up today, because I do have a habit of filming the wrong way up, so Perhaps you can tell me in chat that it is the right way up. That would be nice. These graves are more modern, so I'll quickly walk past those. As I say, this isn't the actual church itself. Would it be the Chapel of Rest, perhaps? Yes, indeed. Turbulent times during the dissolution of the monasteries. I mean, a lot of the monks were often they would hide the wealth before the soldiers would come, because they often got wind of, you know, what was coming, what was going to happen. So things like chalices and silver crosses and I think they're called patens, where they were religious artifacts anyway. I do know that in Wales, on a hillside, they did find a palace and a chalice and paten on a hillside in some crags, which were from the dissolution of Dolgellau Caerma Abbey. So there's an example of how the treasures were hidden away by the monks, so that the soldiers and whoever was in charge wouldn't take them away, which of course would go to Henry VIII's coffers. So yeah, we did lose a lot of beautiful buildings, the old abbeys, back in that time. So I'm just going to take you around, guys. There's a few broken gravestones here. It's a great shame. This is very old part, and there's a lot of them do seem to be broken or sunken, or pushed over. That's a bit better because I can see now with the sunlight. It was a bit dazzling around the corner. There's an example. The sides have fallen off. Unfortunately, the headstone's fallen down. There's a few over there the same as well, where the headstones have been pushed over, or they've probably fallen over really, just due to age and the sinking of the ground. Let's have a look at this gravestone. This looks quite a nice one. And if you can see the details. Alfred Jones. Perhaps you can read this. Yes, possibly pushed over by tree roots, or who knows, burrowing animals. I've noticed a few actually have got burrows underneath on the sides. Here's an example. This one's in a bit of a state really, but such a shame. So the headstone's pushed over, that one's pushed over, and the cornerstones are away from the grave itself. This one's really in a bad state, really. What a shame. So there's an example of where a tree has grown through the centre and damaged the actual gravestone. Again, some of the heads have fallen over. Now, I don't understand why these graves aren't really better maintained. I mean, there's an urn there which is completely, you know, it's fallen over, all sunken in. So I don't know who's responsible for maintaining these old graves, because I'm sure that really volunteer groups could come here and repair them in some way, because this is a dreadful shambles. There's quite a few which are damaged. I know they're old, I know they're out of date. Probably no one comes here now to put flowers on, because obviously all the descendants of the people who are buried here would have moved away. Some of them probably got descendants living in the town that don't even know where the great-grandparents are buried. This one's in a terrible state, look. Isn't that a shame? I'm actually surprised the more I walk around and look as to how bad some of them are. I mean, that little area there is really sinking and falling over. Beautiful day, guys. Watch the sunlight. Where is he? Well, it seems very bright here. I think the brightness is probably not so bad on the camera. Again, fallen urns. And this big one here, this cross one here, must weigh a ton. I mean, that's tilted, that's really tilted over, so it won't be long before that actually will fall over and collapse. Look at the tilt on this, guys. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. It should be vertical, but you can see the tilt on this one. It will not be long before that goes over and smashes. So if anyone here has Facebook, they could possibly put this live stream on. I'd be really, really grateful of that. Get a few more people viewing. I didn't actually plan to go live. Just thought I'd come and do a few photographs and videos. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to go live. And there were different styles of tombstones that came into fashion. I mean, especially in places like Highgate Cemetery in London. That was a very a massive, huge, extensive graveyard, which goes for quite a few miles, and lots of famous people were buried there. And the tombs in what they call the catacombs in Highgate Cemetery, they're incredible. Absolutely incredible. They were used for a lot of horror films in the 1970s. Again, there's a gravestone which is again nearly falling over. Nearly good. No, it's going to go over for sure. And this is like a Celtic cross style. That's nice. Could almost make a tattoo from that, couldn't you? If anybody sees any ghosties, let me know. You never know. Indeed, Marks is buried next to, he's on the other side of Highgate. There's a very old part of Highgate, I believe, and then there's, well, I've actually been there, so I know. Then there's the other side where Marks is buried. But the catacombs are amazing. In the 1970s in Highgate Cemetery, I mean, people could just go in there. Lots of tombs were vandalised, pushed over. Some were even stolen. People were stealing pieces of statues, like angels, for example. They would just knock their hands off and take the carved hands, which is a dreadful shame. And also in Highgate Cemetery, the poor people who couldn't afford burial were actually, they had to be buried somewhere, and it was quite common to bury people under the paths where people walk now. So if you go walking in Highgate Cemetery, you're actually walking over thousands of bodies that were actually buried on the paths because they couldn't afford the burial plots. And of course it was before cremation became fashionable. Let's have a quick look here. These are actually more modern, aren't they? So I won't film those, out of respect for the families that may still visit. This is called a tomb. Let's have a look at these. These are quite interesting. And these are carved from solid stone as well. They're actually carved by hand by a stonemason. So you're looking at serious amounts of work on there, aren't you, really? To actually carve these, it would take days and days and days. Let's have a closer look at this one. This looks interesting. In affectionate remembrance of James Ratcliffe. Again, quite another common name in the Burton-on-Trent area. He was 47, didn't last very long, did he? Because lots of people did die quite early in those days. Now those are getting quite weathered. I suppose in another 100 years you won't be able to read the inscriptions anymore, or the engravings. But that's actually lead lettering. Every letter that you see is, yes indeed, there are people who actually go out cleaning old gravestones. I've watched that on the internet, and it's really interesting because they'll find an old marble gravestone which is very dirty or grubby, and they'll do like a before and after, which is terrific. Let's have a look at this one. In affectionate remembrance of Frederick Ratcliffe. Another Ratcliffe, you see. So this must have been a family plot. That one's dated 1886, and he was aged 61. Now down in Dorset where Simon lives, I'm hoping to visit there soon so we can go metal detecting, of course. There is a churchyard. I must take you there. It's absolutely fantastic, and there's tombs there that go back to the 1500s. Well, gravestones, not tombs. And there was one that I did sort of see, and it was like in a star shape. It was very unusual. It's a family burial plot, and it was in a star shape. So they were all married, sorry, all buried head to head. Not seen that one before. Hey guys, anyone that's coming in chat, I can see you all, so I will say hello to you all. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just doing a interesting old historic graveyard walk in Burton-on-Trent at Stapen Hill Cemetery. So really nice to see you guys, and thank you for joining me. See if I can get you a little bit closer. There we go. Now this is quite an ornate one. I like this one. Beautiful cross. And there was a lady there called Ellen who was buried. Now this one's an interesting one. This again is like a fashion that I've seen lots of them in Highgate Cemetery. This is what they call a broken pillar grave marker, which meant, as far as I remember when I went on a tour years ago in Highgate Cemetery, it was like the broken column represented a life that was ended early. I think I'm right in saying that. Loving memory of William Shilton of Stapen Hill. So this is Stapen Hill churchyard, of course. 1902. Again, there's an interesting example there. As I say, these are lead letters, all cast in moulds, and you can see there it says Thomas, and the letters have all gone, you see. Oh, now this is quite an interesting stone. I'm going to read this for you if I can. Let's have a quick look at this. I'm going to just focus there and I'll read it better by looking at it. It says Thomas, see if I can do this with you. Thomas Newark Whitehead. Maybe you guys can figure this out with me. See if I can read this. Oh, interesting. Now I'm kind of getting this. This guy was descended from King Athelstan. Now you see this? King Athelstan. Sorry, King Alfred the Great. Wow. King Alfred the Great, of course, was the king of the Saxons down in Wessex, which was Dorset, the Dorset area where Simon lives. So I'm just going to really try and... Wow. Now, you've heard the legend of Lady Godiva in Coventry, the lady who rode naked through Coventry. Now, this is based on fact in England. If I can remember the story, Lady Godiva was the wife of a very rich landowner, and she begged him to reduce the taxes for the poor people. And he jokingly said, "Oh, my lady, that will be done one day if you ride naked through the town." And you know what? She took him to his word. She let all the long hair down and she rode through the town of Coventry, and it was forbidden for anyone to look out the windows, but there was one person that did, and his name was Tom, and he was caught peeping. This is Old English history based on fact. He was caught peeping at Lady Godiva, and that's where you get the name Peeping Tom, because he was punished, apparently. Peeping Tom, there you go. Steel Wool Queens just said Peeping Tom. I am indeed Mudlark in Muddy Waters in Scotland. Thank you for joining us today, and hey mama. And so I can't quite figure out everything that it says. I'll really try, actually. Thomas, see if you guys can figure this out with me. Thomas N-E-W, right, Thomas Newman Whitehead. Thomas Newman Whitehead, according to the historians, let's have a look, and what does that say? Something, I can't figure that one out, guys. According to historians and PSDI, oh, pedigrees, well done, thank you. Past preservation, thank you for joining us, guys. And pedigrees given by them was now, is that 30th or 30 some, yeah, 30th in descent from King Alfred the Great. And as I said earlier, just going to go back, sorry guys, and the 36 from King Edward the Elder, who was, I think he was born in or died in 901. Now we're talking about Saxon days here. This is a very interesting grave, isn't it? 35th from King Athelstan, 925. So we're talking about early Saxons here. Wow, this is well interesting. This would be interesting to search. And 35th descendant from Guy, the famous Earl of Warwick, 926, and the 30th descendant from Ermnild, isn't it? Ermnild, the sister of Leofric, yeah, Leofric, Earl of Mercia, okay, Earl of Mercia, and Lady Godiva. His wife, better known as Lady Godiva of Coventry. Let's go over here. And what's this one? Ninth in descent from, what's that one, guys? Can anyone figure that one out for me? I can't quite figure this one out. Ninth in descent from, is that Joan? J-O-A. Is it Joan, sister of William Shakespeare. Oh my goodness. So he's descended from William Shakespeare as well, of Stratford. Stratford upon Avon. That's it, Joan, that's right. This person is obviously some amazing pedigree. I didn't realise. And this Stratford upon Avon, so it's Shakespeare, Stratford upon Avon. What's this one then? It's the celebrated dramatist. I think that's 1599. So this guy basically is descended from all those people. That's incredible. And again, also descended from Overic. Would you agree it's Overic? O-E-R-D-I-C. No, it's Cerdic, isn't it? Cerdic. Good Anglo-Saxon name, I'm sure. The first king of Wessex. 519. I think it's Cerdic. And old silver coins have been found for his. There aren't many around, because I read about those recently. And Egbert, the first king of England. So this person here has got the most amazing pedigree, really, or family lineage. So this is the other side. Thomas Newman Whitehead. Clerk to the Burton Town Corporate Commission or Corporation? Commission? Commissioners. This is like a real jigsaw puzzle, is it? So he was clerk to the Burton Town Commissioners in approximately, I think that's 1866 to 1873. And town clerk of the borough and county borough of Burton-on-Trent, 1878. And he died on the 24th of February. Is that 1911, everybody? For a guess, 1911. Age 74 years. Oh. Well, that's a totally amazing gravestone, guys, with a guy that's descended from all those famous people of history. Amazing. So we'll say goodbye to him for a moment and we'll take you along here. Do excuse the shaking. I'm going to invest in a gimbal. Now we've got 10 lovely people in chat, 12 likes, that's really appreciated. Chat hasn't come up for a few moments, so I can't see who's in. But I'm just going to take you and have a look a little bit closer to the church when the lady's just moved on. She's filling a bucket. Steel wool queen, Cerdic, yeah, I think it would be Cerdic, I'm sure. And it was 1911. Yes, hi Simon, how you doing, mate? Well, I was filming recently and doing a mudlark in a ditch, found loads of stuff, and I noticed afterwards that because it was a live stream that my finger was actually over the camera most of the time, which was quite annoying. Likes, bless you all. I wasn't going to actually go live and do this, but I thought, well, I'm here, so I may as well. And just to let you guys know, recently I did do some filming in a 6th century cave church, and it's just absolutely amazing. Been there since, you know, the 6th century, where a monk used to live. Apparently it was used for services, and they used to come along the river and disembark from the church, disembark from the river and then go into the church for a service way back in time. And the Vikings actually sailed up the river as well, so that's pretty cool. So there's a video coming shortly of that, which Simon's going to edit. And then there was a mudlark as well, so which is quite cool. It's quite a nice ornate graveyard as well, gravestone. There's some work gone into this, isn't there? Hello.
Hello there.
Are you all right, sweetheart? Just doing a little history walk with some friends.
Are you?
Yes.
What, Burton-on-Trent?
Yeah.
You live here in your life?
I have lived here for a while,
Uh-huh.
and presently I'm staying with a friend. Yeah. So there's a nice, interesting tomb. Wow, it's very tall actually. So here's the old Stapen Hill Church, everyone. Now it's quite windy, so hopefully the wind won't be too troublesome, but I'm going to quickly walk around and show you some interesting architecture. I like this. Now sadly the church isn't open at the moment because of the present situation, which we all know about, which is a great shame, of course. Doesn't seem to be any stained glass windows here. I did think personally it would be a much more substantial church. I mean, it's still quite big. It must have cost thousands and thousands of pounds to build in the early Victorian times. Just take you around the graveyard here as well. Mind you, there's not much there. There's some modern houses there, but here's the other side of the church. Yeah, them Vikings did get around, didn't they? That was my lot. Yeah, lots of gold sovereigns indeed. So hi to anyone, if it's your first time, it's lovely to see you and thank you for joining us. Just showing a historic church in Burton-on-Trent, Staffordshire in the UK, England of course. It's just a shame I can't go inside, isn't it? Because it is locked up. But I actually saw another church over there. I went to a small village and was looking over the river bridge. Loads of pottery in the river, but you couldn't get down to it, so that was a bit annoying. And I didn't have my waders with me because I'm going to go back and do a river walk and see what, you know, old pottery I can retrieve. That's a nice church, that is. So I'll just take you over here. Northern Mudlarks, Gail and Alex. Oh, bless you, you've made my day, ladies. Absolutely made my day. Thank you so much for popping in. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. If you could see my face now, it's got a huge smile on it. In fact, I'm going to spin you all around. Let's see if I can do this without messing up, because normally I get it confused. There we go. There we go. Got all my hair pulled back in a man bun look. I'm a Viking too. And I had a shave as well. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a shave. So, right, let's see who's in the chat room. I'm gonna sit quietly on the edge of this curb and say hello to everybody and thank you for joining me today. Now I can see who's here. So chat away, let's see who's here. Zandemex, yes, it's a real live walk indeed. Yes, just been walking through a lovely old churchyard if you just joined us. Yeah, Mudlarking, Muddy Water, Scotland. Hey, how you doing? Northern Mudlarks, bless you. I love your channel, ladies. I would love, and I mean absolutely love, to come up to your area one day and join you on a little lark and bring my metal detector. God, I'm sure we'd find some good stuff, really would. A little bit out of breath now, coming up that hill. John Chum, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I recognise your name, my friend. Nice to see you. And Denison Menace, Danny, how you doing, mate?